the nuns just grabs me and starts like making me do the polka with her, which I can't really explain, but it's like a lot of jumping, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And it's like, it was a core memory.
The reason we're sitting down here is because you're one of 3 students who was part of this really special trip that we just did to St. Louis to experience the Sisters of St. Joseph's Federation event conference called Radically Transforming Community. I know it's a lot. It was an incredible experience. A weekend with nuns, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. And it was really full of so much spirit and life. And so you were one of 3 that got a full scholarship to attend it, which is really, really special. And so we wanted to take a moment to just reflect together about what that was like and share that with our community. One of my questions is, what was your favorite part of the experience? I'm going to ask you this twice. What was your favorite part of the experience that can include nun dancing?
Okay.
And then what was your favorite part of the experience that includes more of the educational aspect of it?
Okay, we're going to start with the educational aspect because I think the second part, there's like a lot of things.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I think my favorite part of the educational point was on the first night when the nun who was speaking, I forgot her name, oh my goodness, it feels like it was like 20 years ago, but the nun kind of said this thing about hospitality. Mm-hmm. And it was, you know, hospitality isn't about creating a place forcing people to change, but it's about creating a stable environment where change can facilitate. And I think as somebody who is going for education, that like kind of hit my heart, you know, about maintaining a classroom full of students who are coming from, you know, different places and are in different walks in their lives. You know, some students might be, you know, swimmingly adapting to the classroom while some might be struggling. So that kind of helped me, you know, have an outlook for a career that I'm kind of basing my life on. And then the second was probably when we met with, I'm really bad with names, Serena, right?
Yes.
Serena, who was speaking about the jail reform, she came from St. Joseph's LI.
Yes.
And she talked about some of the sisters who help at our school, because we do have some Sisters of St. Joseph who are professors and faculty, and also Father Frank, how they helped her and, you know, helped her after being convicted and being put into the jail system, and how, you know, through their help and hospitality and love towards her and, you know, their service to women in other prisons, that they were able to, sorry, I'm getting a little choked up, help her facilitate this ability to speak for people whose voices are not being heard, and how, you know, it was like this chain reaction. The kindness of St. Joseph's University, then college, you know, bringing beauty from this tragedy this woman went through, you know, this difficult point. And it's sort of how God works things for the good, and through her story that like really hit me, you know.
The joy that was felt in this arena of people was just incredible. And like, yes, we laugh about how nuns really love to break it down on the dance floor, and it's not a joke. There were 2 nights, there was a serious DJ there, music was played, legs and muscles were pulled, but there was this joy that was just so contagious. Did you feel that?
Yeah, and I think it was really beautiful that, you know, after hearing about like all this difficult stuff that was going on in the world and having to swallow down these heavy subjects, the nuns still had the ability to rejoice and, you know, celebrate the moment, which I thought was really powerful.
Are you feeling pieces of the conference and pieces of those experiences still day to day?
Oh, most definitely. I think it definitely has helped me be a little more compassionate. At first, I felt a little like small and powerless, because once you're like told about these like awful atrocities that are happening to people, and, you know, pain that people go through on a daily basis, and the injustice in the world, for a moment you feel like, I feel weak, I feel powerless, and it's just like the little slump. But then a few days after swallowing it and getting some sleep, because it was a lot, like, you know, it's like it was hot, it was St. Louis, so it was like a lot emotionally.
Very hot that week. Yeah.
So once I got a nap, got back to New York, ate some actual pizza, you know, life like was just going on, and I was realizing like, you know, there's a compassion that I could bring into a day-to-day life that I think the sisters have definitely shown me, both here at our school and at the conference.
I've known you for a little bit here, and I've seen you grow in your own spiritual life and your spiritual journey, and it's been impressive. What has made you want to take that leap forward as a young adult and go on that journey and then hang out in this corner of the campus, and how's it been for you?
It's been going great. I mean, I've gotten a lot more involved and like starting new conversations that I wouldn't have before, and like volunteering and taking more action in my life is something that I've always wanted to do.
Was there anything about the conference in particular that you were like really surprised by?
When I was listening to the justice panel, the justice action panelists that were talking about the incarceration, because that's not something I think about day to day, because it's not my reality. Like, I wouldn't say that I'm affected by the the impacts of incarceration. But like listening to their stories, I was like surprised to hear like you can be separated from your child in jail, and like the mistreatment that continues to go on with women.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a really powerful point that you say, it's not my reality. And that fits perfectly into what the sisters were working to do that whole weekend, is make us all admit, hey, this isn't our reality, but it can be, and we should welcome it into our lives to figure out how we can engage with this and then be part of the change. What did there was a lot to digest from this conference. There's so much material, but what are some of the things that are sticking with you that you maybe keep thinking about?
I really like the very first speaker, Sister Lynn, I think.
Yes, yeah.
She was talking about not dwelling on our differences between a community, because that's not what makes us like together. Because like deep down inside, we're all like human, and that's how we're connected. So and then she did an activity when we were like looked at the person next to us, and we said, "I am." It was like, "I am," and then "you are."
You are seen.
Something like that.
Yeah, there was something along the lines of, I see you and I know you see me.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
And I remember bringing this up in the small conversations with my table about like how when we were younger, all we would like want is like to be seen. I feel like that still applies right now, just to be seen as a human being and not be seen like your descriptors of like your outward appearance, if there's more to that. So I think that really stuck with me.
And what was your favorite, like, just silliness and joy of the weekend?
We did a lot. I would say either doing the cha-cha slide with the sisters or like when we went to the wax museum.
Oh yeah. We did some sightseeing in St. Louis, and the haunted wax museum was not something I loved. It was a little scary. Anyway, but the cha-cha slide came up from another person from the group. Claire brought that up too, so you're not alone. I asked the fun part question because I think it's so important to see that what we experienced there was this joy. I don't know if you felt it or not, but like, didn't the sisters just felt like they had this energy about them that like you just couldn't be in a bad mood around them. Did you feel that, first of all? Yeah. And then how is that? Have you been thinking about that at all? Has that been playing into your life? Because it has for me.
I mean, I was like thinking about how we were all different ages, just all enjoying the same dance, the same song, all having fun. Like, the community, like society is broken in its ways, but at the same time we're all still together, and that moment was really special.
What has led you on that path to being the person that you are here and being involved in this little corner of the campus?
I went to Catholic school my whole life. From the time I was in nursery school, it was really important to my parents for me to be raised in a religion and go to schools that cultivated that. And even though there were points in my life where I would strengthen that faith, or that faith would be lost in a sense, I always came back to it. And I think that being surrounded by people in this little corner of the office is something that can help establish that faith even more.
What made you want to go on this conference?
I really have never left New York on my own without a family member, and I just thought this was a good opportunity to do that and kind of start a journey and open that horizon, get my foot out the door in that way.
There was a lot of talks, and the talks were about radically transforming community. What about that ideology of radical versus reasonable do you think stuck out to you?
I think that there's a negative connotation when you use the word radical because it can get extreme, but I think that in this conference it kind of taught me as a 21-year-old Catholic woman in the world that I have power to make change, even if it's just something small, something that may seem insignificant, but almost like a butterfly effect. 100 years from now, it could be the basis for some, big change in the world. And I think that it gave me kind of that confidence to take a stand and not be afraid to make waves, but do it in a way that is respectful to everybody around me and making sure that I'm doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah, something that the sisters have done very well throughout their
Yes.
history, making waves. And they're always starting conversations. They're always in the middle of getting stuff done, and so I like that. Making waves is a good way to think about it. There's a lot of stories coming out in the world of media. No, there's not, but they're about the cha-cha slide with the sisters.
Oh,
and I just have to bring it
we
up.
were talking about that.
Yeah, well, the other students brought it up, so I gotta. So the dancing with the nuns. I mean, this
Dancing
is a thing.
with the nuns.
And any of you watching, you gotta join us in our opportunities to be with the sisters next time,
I
because
didn't know we were gonna bring that up. Yeah, they know how to dance. They're not
they know
shy
how to
about
dance.
it.
They know how to dance. They had 2 serious DJ nights.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
But and all kidding aside about that, and it's not a joke. It really did happen.
No,
is,
it did. Yeah.
and we need to document it. Is there was such a joy that was felt in the innocence of the energy there, and I saw you cut up the floor a bit. I saw it, and how did that feel? What was that experience like? Did you ever think you'd be?
Definitely not.
Dancing
It was
nuts.
not on my bingo card
Yeah.
for any year, but definitely not for 2022.
Yeah.
That I would be doing the cha-cha slide with nuns at a conference, but it was definitely enjoyable and something that I can tell now to people and say, no, that actually happened.
Yeah. All right. I have a Subaru.
actually want to.
I drive a Subaru.
I know, I drive one right now.
No, I drive one right now too. I'm not kidding. I love it.
They're good cars.
It's a great car. This is turning into an advertising for Subaru. You answered that so well, and I don't have anything to follow up with.
Can't top it.
You can't. What animal would you want to be and why?
Oh God, I think I would. Funny enough, I think I would want to actually be like a whale or something because they're just big and they just float in the ocean. They just vibe.
Well, not the answer we were looking for, but we'll take it.